we go. Hey, it's been a while.
Hey,
Hey.
it's been a while.
True.
For those of you who don't know why I've been gone,
Damn.
yep, I fucked up. Okay, that's an understatement. I really fucked up. While I'm not famous by any stretch of the imagination, last year was the first time I could support myself as a content creator, largely thanks to my friends and peers who believed in me enough to promote me on their platforms. But I was weak. I let my physical and mental health fall to the wayside as my work became increasingly mixed with my personal life. Eventually, I failed to balance it all and ended up making some inexcusably terrible choices that cost me my career, my community, and many of the people closest to me. In short, I got canceled. And I'm sure many of you want the details, the play-by-play. The internet is always hungry for drama, but if you're here for the tea, you're in the wrong place. What transpired was an intensely personal matter that has taken substantial time for all parties to heal. And it's not my place to reopen old wounds to satisfy your curiosity. The intent of this video is actually quite selfish. It's a video for myself, a perpetual reminder of the hurt I've caused, but that mistakes aren't what ultimately define you. It's what you do after you make them. In the last year, I've been off social media, living alone.
It's been a year?
Not as a streamer, not as a YouTuber, just me, Albert. At first, all I felt was intense remorse and pain. It's easy to let people define who you are, especially when thousands of them are telling you you're a sociopathic scum of the earth piece of shit whose very existence is a waste of space. And these feelings of self-loathing and humiliation seeped into all my social interactions. I was too ashamed to reach out to my friends and family, afraid that they might reject me or worse, receive flack for showing me compassion. So I socially distanced myself, long before it was necessary, and tried to escape reality through whatever means possible. I started sleeping 8 hours a day. I ate like there was no tomorrow. I binge-watched TV shows and no-liked video games. But no matter what I tried, I felt no happiness. It was then I understood, without my career and people I cared about in my life, I didn't know how to be happy alone. How did I become like this? When I was 7, my first-generation Asian parents had an unbelievably original idea. Albert should try the violin. They baited me in by turning practicing into a game. For every half hour I'd practice, they'd give me a sticker. And being the gamer that I was, you can bet I farmed those damn stickers. But to my horror, I began genuinely liking the violin. Even after my parents weaned me off the stickers, I continued to practice. Mom and Dad couldn't be happier.
Who is this?
Asian parents love flexing their kids' talents like holographic Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And lucky for them, I needed no convincing to perform. I would bust out my violin and play for anyone who'd listen. And yeah, I was bad. Really bad. But I didn't care. Seeing people smile and applaud made me happy. Made me want to play more. The same passion I had for the violin trickled into my other hobbies, such as Lego building, magic, and filmmaking. I just love learning new things and sharing that love with other people. Sadly, these feelings changed when I turned my hobbies into my job. They say if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Fuck that noise. When you do what you love, your life becomes your work. You can never clock out. You're constantly thinking and working to deliver the best experience to your audience. For me, I was always looking for ways to optimize my videos, my music, my social reach, my skills. My happiness was not a priority. So I hate to admit it, but at some point, my passions stopped bringing me joy. They were commodities I packaged and sold in return for self-validation and money. It became more about doing things I thought would be received well, rather than what I wanted to do. And socializing was the only thing that could pull me from my work. Contrary to appearances, I'm actually an extrovert. I'm happiest when I'm spending time with the people I love and doing things to make them happy. However, I was people-pleasing to a fault. I could never say no. Hey Albert, can you help me film this video? Hey Albert, can you make dinner tonight? Hey Albert, can you cut your hand off for me? I valued the happiness and approval
Who
of my
asked him to
peers,
do
friends,
that?
and loved ones far above my own, so I'd often squash my needs in order to meet the needs of others. If it made them like me more, well, that was enough for me. It took being canceled for me to realize I didn't make myself happy. I always derived my happiness externally, whether it was from my career or my close relationships, and not always in healthy ways. And having lost both, I had hit rock bottom. I took a good look at myself and asked, do you want to come back? You've hurt people. You've burned bridges. Did you even really enjoy content creation, you ungrateful fuck? Maybe it's time to try a different line of work. And I thought about it. Why I got into it in the first place. Was it because of the fame? The promise of fortune? No, it was something else. I felt a spark rekindle inside me. I remember the kid who loved the violin. The kid who was able to make others happy with his music even though he sucked because it was clear he enjoyed what he was doing. I remember that all I've ever wanted to do is learn and make cool shit that I like, with people that I like, and share that to the world. Because in many ways, I'm an artist. Not a great one, and maybe never will be. And I'm okay with that. So my answer? But I knew if I jumped back into content creation right away, then nothing's really changed. So as cliche as it sounds, I've begun working on myself. I started small, finding things to do solely for my own sake and not anyone else's. I learned to make my own coffee. No, not your basic-ass Starbucks monstrosities or shitty instant Folgers, but homemade, pour-over coffee.
I like Folgers.
It may seem like work having to grind your own beans, weigh them, heat water to a specific temperature, and then pour at a steady rate over a designated period of time. But for me, this was empowering. I had lost control of my life, so making coffee was a step in regaining that control. I also started exercising consistently. Reddit armchair experts will tell you to hit the gym if you're depressed, but I shit you not, it works. While I was still paranoid about being recognized in public, at the gym, no one gives a fuck who you are. Everyone's just concerned about achieving one thing: gains. And I needed that. A goal that whether I reach it is entirely up to me. And I found working out gave me confidence, which in turn made me feel happier. And with this newfound energy, I wanted something to direct it towards. I began looking into adopting a dog. So many cute dogs. But right before going to the shelter, my landlord shat on my dreams of becoming a dog owner. No pets. And also, get rid of your shit in the living room. Disappointed but not discouraged, I went with the next best thing. Yeast. I raised my yeast starter from scratch. All it took was flour, water, and 7 straight days of feeding, and Yeast Boy was born. I take him on long walks, give him warm baths, watch TV shows together.
What's going on?
He's perfect. Plus, I can eat him. You'd be hard-pressed to find a bond that rivals that of man and yeast working together to create a delicious sourdough bread to fill the gaping void stemming from my lack of friendship and social interactions in my day-to-day life. But I've been working on that too. I started seeing a therapist, which has honestly helped me better understand myself. I've never shared so much and cried so much in front of someone I hardly know. I started making new friends who shared the same hobbies as me. Their passion for their crafts helped reinvigorate my own. I also reconnected with old friends. The ones who are there for you no matter what.
My own yeast, but it was
the
because
ones I
did
took
not
for
shower
granted
for a month.
and I'm forever grateful for having met.
No.
And finally, I stopped ghosting my family all the time and started checking in more often. They've always given me their support when I've fucked up, and this time was no exception. And I know now life's too short not to appreciate and spend time with those who love you.
Thank
Yep.
you, Mal.
You never know when you might be seeing them for the last time. Recently, my grandmother passed away.
Oh, jeez.
I loved my Nai. She was one of my biggest fans, although she didn't really understand what I did for a living. When times were tough, she would always ask me if I was taking care of myself, making me home-cooked meals and sending me money whenever she could. It pained me to know that I worried her because I knew just how much she loved me. So I never told her what happened. We knew she only had a few months left to live, and I didn't want to burden her with that knowledge. She passed away peacefully, believing that I was the successful and virtuous man I simply was not. But you can bet I'm working my ass off to prove her right one day. As of this year, I'm doing my best to lead an honest life, owning everything I've ever done, the good and the bad. With fear and violence running rampant in the world right now, I've become more cognizant of my privileges. I started several creative projects I'm truly passionate about, and I've been learning to live for myself so that I can be a more present, empathetic, and loving human being to those around me. And I know, being canceled doesn't magically make you a better person. In fact, most people believe a canceled person will never change. But change doesn't just happen overnight. It's a lifelong process. And I don't know if the people I've hurt will ever accept my apologies. All I can do is work towards the day when I'll be able to forgive myself. So, when you search my name in the future, may the person you find be the person I resolve to become.
That production was insane. That production was nuts. Say something? I don't know, man. I don't know. My thing is, like, I just don't get how people do it, man. I don't understand how people come back after stuff like that happens. I don't get how you... But he kind of explained it in the video. I don't know.
Nintendo was shot by Skel.